Welcome to your personalized deep dive.
Mhm.
Today, we're diving into a conversation between two artists,
Oh, okay.
Mayumi and Hideki, about marketing and sales for artists.
Right.
And we're going to uncover how they think about connecting with fans
Yeah.
and why that's so important, even if you're not an artist yourself,
Hmm.
building a brand,
Right.
launching a business. This deep dive has some gems for you too.
You know what I find really interesting about this is how they approach their goals for the year.
Uh-huh.
Mayumi's got this list of 10 super specific goals,
Right.
almost like a business plan,
Yeah.
while Hideki's all about honing his daily routine.
Yeah, like they're coming at it from opposite ends of the spectrum, but
Yes.
meeting in the middle.
Exactly.
And that middle ground seems to be all about building those direct connections with fans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mayumi really emphasizes how crucial marketing and sales are,
Hmm.
even for artists.
Okay.
While Hideki reflects on his time being signed to a label and how it sometimes felt like a barrier between him and his supporters.
That's such a great point. Because you'd think being signed would amplify why your reach.
Right.
But he's saying it can actually distance you
Yeah.
from the people who matter most.
Yeah.
So how does Mayumi, with her very business-minded approach, think about bridging this gap?
Well, she uses a really intriguing analogy.
Okay.
She compares an artist's early supporters to investors in the stock market.
Okay.
As the artist grows, the value of their early work appreciates,
Mm-hmm.
benefiting those who believe in them from the start.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more about this art as stocks concept.
Okay.
It feels a little counterintuitive, right? Like,
Yeah.
isn't art supposed to be about expression, not investment?
That's the beauty of it.
Okay.
She's not saying art should be solely about investment,
Okay.
but she's highlighting this often overlooked aspect of how an artist's growth
Right.
directly benefits those who were there from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Those early supporters took a chance,
Yeah.
invested in the artist's potential,
Yeah.
and as that potential blossoms, their investment gains value.
So it's more about acknowledging the symbiotic relationship between artist and supporter.
Yes.
But how does this translate into real-world action?
Yeah.
It can't just be about the monetary value of the art going up, right?
Right. And that's where Miyumi's overseas exhibition comes in.
Okay.
This wasn't just any exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
She specifically organized it to delight the people
Wow.
who had bought her early work.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that, traveling across the world to put on a show for those who believed in you way back when.
Yeah.
It's a powerful statement.
Wow, that's dedication. But wouldn't that be incredibly difficult to pull off,
Oh, yeah.
especially for an artist who's just starting out? I
Right.
mean, the logistics alone.
Absolutely. It would be a significant undertaking.
Yeah.
And it speaks to Mayumi's commitment to this idea of giving back
Mm-hmm.
to those who believed in her early on.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about making a quick buck. It was about showing those people how far she'd come thanks to their support.
Right.
The exhibition becomes a symbol of their shared journey.
It's almost like saying, look what we achieved together.
Yes.
But let's be real,
Mhm.
not every artist can just jet off
Right.
and put on an international exhibition.
Right.
So what are some more grounded ways to embody this give back mindset?
That's a great question. And it's where thinking about different types of value comes in.
Okay.
For Mayumi, the value was in creating this incredible shared experience.
Yeah.
But there are so many other ways to show appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Exclusive behind-the-scenes content,
Mm-hmm.
personalized messages,
Mhm.
early access to new releases, even a simple shout-out on social media.
Right.
These gestures might not be as grand as an overseas exhibition,
Yeah.
but they can be incredibly meaningful.
So it's about finding ways to make those early supporters feel seen,
Yes.
valued, and like they're part of something special,
Exactly.
which I guess ties back to Hideki's point
Yeah.
about that direct connection being so important.
Yes.
But he also mentioned having some regrets about how he approached this earlier in his career, right?
He did. And it's interesting to think about the context of his experience.
Okay.
Being signed to a label often means surrendering some control
Right.
over how you interact with your fan base.
Yeah.
You've got the label's priorities,
Right.
marketing strategies,
Right.
and sometimes even restrictions on what you can and can't do.
So even though he had this larger platform,
Yeah.
the structure itself might have limited his ability to connect on a personal level.
Exactly.
It sounds like there's a real tension there
Yes.
between reaching a wider audience
Yeah.
and nurturing those core relationships.
Exactly. And that's a dilemma a lot of artists and creators face,
Mhm.
especially as they start to gain traction.
Right.
How do you balance the need for growth with the importance of staying true to your roots
Yeah.
and those who are there from the beginning.
Okay, this is where it starts to get really interesting for me.
Yeah.
Because this isn't just an artist problem, is it?
No.
This whole idea of balancing growth with authentic connection applies to anyone building a business, a brand, even just a personal following online.
You're absolutely right. The principles we're uncovering here,
Yeah.
nurturing relationships, rewarding loyalty, making
Yeah.
people feel like they're part of something bigger,
Right.
these are universal. And they're especially crucial in those early stages
Yeah.
when you're still establishing yourself.
Yeah.
And every bit of support counts.
But before we jump into how this applies to everyone, I'm
Okay.
curious, what are your thoughts on this art as stocks analogy?
Right.
Does it feel empowering or a bit too transactional
Yeah.
when it comes to something as personal as creative expression?
It's a thought-provoking analogy for sure. And you've hit on the key point, the potential for it to feel transactional.
Right.
But I think Mayumi is using it more as a framework for understanding the inherent value that early supporters bring. It's not about reducing art to a commodity.
Right.
It's about recognizing that those early believers are taking a risk, investing in something they believe in.
Right.
And as the artist grows, the impact of that early support becomes even more significant.
So it's like saying, hey, your faith in me wasn't misplaced. Look how far we've come.
Exactly.
But even if we reframe it in a more positive light, there's still the potential for this stock market thinking to get out of hand, right?
Yeah.
Like we've all heard those stories about art collectors hoarding pieces, driving up prices,
Right.
and ultimately making art less accessible to the public.
That's a valid concern, and it highlights the potential downsides of focusing too heavily on the investment aspect of art.
Right.
When art becomes primarily a commodity, its cultural and social value can be diminished. It's a delicate balance for sure.
So how do we navigate that balance? How do we embrace the positive aspects of this give-back mentality without falling into the trap of turning art into a purely transactional game?
I think it comes down to intention and transparency.
Okay.
If your primary motivation is to reward investors by making them rich, that's going to come across in your work and your interactions with your audience.
Right.
But if your focus is on creating meaningful connections and sharing your art with the world, then the financial aspect becomes secondary.
So it's about leading with the heart, with the genuine desire to connect and create, and letting the financial rewards follow naturally as a byproduct of that passion.
Exactly.
But how do we bring this back to our listener who might not be an artist,
Right.
but is still trying to build something special, a business, a movement, even just a strong online community? What can they learn from all of this?
I think the core principles here are universal.
Okay.
Whether you're creating art, building a business, or even just pursuing a passion project.
Right.
Those early supporters are your most valuable assets. They're the ones who provide encouragement feedback.
Right.
And often, yes, even financial backing when you need it most.
They're the ones who believed in you before anyone else did.
Exactly.
So how do we as creators, entrepreneurs, or just passionate individuals cultivate those relationships and show our appreciation in a way that feels authentic and impactful?
It starts with simply acknowledging their presence and their contribution.
Okay.
A genuine thank you goes a long way.
Yeah.
And then it's about finding ways to make them feel like they're a part of your journey. This could be through sharing behind-the-scenes glimpses of your process, giving them early access to new products or content, or even just responding to their comments and messages thoughtfully.
It's about turning those one-time transactions into ongoing relationships.
Yes.
And what I love about this approach is that it benefits everyone involved.
Yeah.
The creator feels appreciated and supported, and the supporter feels like they're a part of something special. So win-win.
Exactly. And it creates this positive feedback loop.
Oh, okay.
When people feel valued and appreciated, they're more likely to become advocates for your work, spreading the word and attracting new supporters.
Which ultimately helps you grow and create even more.
Exactly.
It's like that old saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
But let's get even more specific here.
Okay.
Say I'm that listener, and I'm thinking, okay, this all sounds great. But I'm just one person with limited time and resources. What's one concrete action I can take today to start nurturing those relationships and showing my appreciation?
I'd say start by making a list of those early supporters who come to mind.
Okay.
The people who have been there for you, who have shown genuine interest and support in what you're doing.
Yeah.
It could be customers, clients, followers on social media, even friends and family who have been your biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah. Okay, I've got my list. Now what? Do I send them all a fruit basket?
A fruit basket is always appreciated. But seriously, it doesn't have to be anything grand or expensive.
Right.
It's the thoughtfulness behind the gesture that counts.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a handwritten thank you note,
Okay.
a personalized email, or even just a shout out on your next Instagram story.
Okay.
The key is to make it personal and specific to each individual.
Right.
Let them know what their support has meant to you and how they've contributed to your journey.
So it's about moving beyond those generic one-size-fits-all interactions and creating something that feels more genuine and heartfelt.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing those people as individuals and expressing your appreciation in a way that resonates with them specifically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you might be surprised at the impact a simple act of gratitude can have.
Right.
Not only will it strengthen those individual relationships, but it can also create a ripple effect, fostering a culture of appreciation and support within your entire community.
This is making me think about all the amazing creators and entrepreneurs I follow online who do this so well. They're constantly shouting out their supporters, highlighting their stories, and making them feel like they're a part of something truly special.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring to see.
It is. And it's a reminder that success is rarely a solo endeavor. It's about building a community, nurturing relationships, and recognizing that we all rise together.
So powerful. And I think this is a perfect segue into our final thought for our listener to ponder today. Think about your journey.
Yeah, your own personal journey.
Doesn't matter if it's a creative project, a business you're building, or even just a personal goal you're chasing.
Right.
Who are those people who are your early supporters?
Those really important people.
The ones who had your back before anyone else?
The OGs.
The ones who saw something special in you and what you were doing?
Yeah, and took a chance on you.
And here's the question for you. How can you express your appreciation for their belief in a way that's authentic and meaningful to them?
That's a good question.
Maybe it's sending a heartfelt thank you note.
Oh, yeah.
Or sharing a post on social media, expressing your gratitude.
Definitely.
Maybe it's giving them early access to your latest project. Or simply taking the time to connect one-on-one and let them know how much their support has meant.
It can be something small.
It doesn't have to be a grand gesture.
Yeah, just something from the heart.
It's the thought that counts. Because at the end of the day, it's about building something meaningful and lasting together.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that success is not a solo endeavor.
Awfully not. We all need support.
It's about acknowledging and appreciating those who helped us along the way.
For sure.
So go out there and show your early supporters some love.
Yeah, show you care.
Let them know that you see them, you value them.
And that their support means the world.
And you're grateful for their belief in you.
Couldn't have done it without them.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. We hope this has given you some food for thought.
Yeah, definitely something to chew on.
And some inspiration to go out and nurture those all-important relationships.
Those are the ones that matter.
Until next time, keep learning, keep creating.
And keep giving back.
And keep connecting.